Hey guys, today's story is about a new DM that brings in questionable content. After DMing for several months, I wanted to play the game a little bit again. So I tried my luck at finding a group online. On D&D Beyond, there was an ad for a LGBT-friendly group looking for another player. The campaign was supposed to be a homebrew D&D setting, with the whole world entirely planned out. Lucky me, I thought. I'm gay, but was nervous to actually mention it in past games. I was hoping for an open-minded group where I could maybe even roleplay a gay character without people getting weird about it. So I applied and hoped I could join. When the DM replied, I was really excited. She said I could join, and she wanted to just talk to me about my character with the other DM. The reason behind this was that the female DM wanted to play a game with this world that she had created. But she didn't actually know anything about DMing for D&D. The male DM, who was her friend or partner, I'm not sure, had oodles of experience he wanted to teach her, and offered to take over the role part while she would do the storytelling. I'm all for getting new players and DMs into the game, and surely an experienced DM would make it go smoothly, right? But before the actual session, the female DM wanted to roleplay a one-on-one with me on how my cleric would get to the place where he would meet the other PCs. She described how he was approached by a mysterious, vampire-looking man, and his female companion, who was essentially naked, for no apparent reason. They introduced them as husband and wife, and asked my character to join them for a party. Seeing as how they were acting suspicious as hell, and I had established beforehand my character was a coward, I refused. The DM asked me to make a wisdom save, and as they had me roll for my stats and insisted on insane scores, because the game will be challenging, I ended up with no modifiers under a +1. And several +3s or higher. And as I was playing a cleric, you're proficient in wisdom saves, so I passed with ease. Then she told me to make another save, and then another. 5 times in a row, until I finally failed one. You're charmed now, and want to do everything they say, so you follow them into their mansion. Needless to say, I wasn't very happy about this. But she was inexperienced, and I wanted to give her a chance with the actual session. But it only got worse from there. During the actual session, she described excessively how there was nearly naked lolly maids in the mansion, and how sexy the vampire wife was to my character. So, scratch playing a gay character. And how she constantly tried to seduce him. And the other players were all over the map, so nobody could even talk in character. The male DM, who was supposed to oversee the rules, apparently had a stomach flu of some kind and regularly excused himself to go puking. He bent the rules to make her happy, and made up excuses for completely insane rulings. Because it's a homebrew setting and stuff just works differently. To be clear, I don't think the DM had ever even opened a rulebook. She just wanted to have people care about her made-up world full of sexy OP vampires and feather dragons. The male DM, on the other hand, had obviously let her run into this completely under-equipped. And he inserted his own DMPC into every situation. And his DMPC had a +15 to everything, and solved every conflict the PCs could have handled. And there was a creepy guy harassing one of the female PCs. So I went and got another player for help. Happy that there was finally an opportunity to roleplay together, but the male DM said, "What you don't get is my DMPC is a paladin." To which said paladin barged in and beat up the creep while all the players just awkwardly listened. During our initial talk, we had discussed some ground rules. And to top everything off with a cherry, it soon became apparent how important those ground rules really were to them. And as I do with any new game I join, I had asked about sensitive topics, and if and how they would be addressed. They assured me that it was very important to them to make sure that everyone was comfortable, and that sexual scenes would be roleplayed one-on-one in a separate chat. And I found that a bit weird. But since it wouldn't concern me that way, it seemed like a good compromise. I also told them specifically that I didn't want to have any sexual stuff happen on-screen, because I read enough of this subreddit and I wanted to take precautions. After 2 hours of repeated rules, sexy maids, one PC taking a NPC's job offer and leaving mid-game, male DM's puking breaks, and female DM's casual mention of the ghosts in her room, I was very close to just walking out. Still, that would have been rude, and the other players seemed well-intentioned, so I held on till the session was over. At least, that was what I intended, before the sexy, basically naked vampire lady asked one PC how she intended to pay for a favor. "With my body," the PC answered. The sexy vampire lady gleefully accepted, and the female DM immediately lunged into a graphic description. So, I left. After I had cooled off, I wrote a message in the Discord chat, thanking them for letting me play with them, but that I wouldn't be joining their group because it wasn't the kind of game I personally was looking for. Immediately, the male DM deleted my message, then PM'd me and started a whole guilt trip about how female DM was upset and crying, and that I didn't give any chance to work it out, and that the whole sex scene was just another blunder and they hadn't really meant it. Looking back, I had just left in the nick of time. It made me very careful around online groups, but I found a great group to play with a few months ago. In addition, the ad for the group is still showing up on D&D Beyond sometimes. It looks like they have trouble keeping their players. I wonder why, guys. That's a mystery. Well, guys, at least the OP didn't stay in longer than he needed to. And if your DM ever brings in any sort of character that they describe as a lolly, you also might want to be heading for the hills. But in any case, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. And if you have a story that you'd like me to narrate, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a good one.